Okay, hello, my name is Zehle. Today I'm going to talk to you about a excerpt from an outcome that I created from a student of mine. This is an A+ example, and basically what I want to convey to you guys is how important the expression is in terms of nailing an A+. So I'll just quickly scroll up and down here just so we can get the full document. Alright, so basically what I've got is, let's see if I can make it bigger. I've got an introduction, an example body paragraph, a figure, and then a conclusion at the end. And on the side of this document, if I make it smaller again, there are lots of different annotations. So the writing that is in yellow is the most important thing in terms of creating and capturing the clarity of the expression. So that means you want to have a really clear and explicit explanation of what the question is and what the findings are going to be, or that will be presented within the whole report if they're doing a report text type. So what I've highlighted, if I make it a bit bigger, whoops, that fits almost, whoops. Okay, so this student's question was about technology in soccer and how it's evolved over about 200 years. And in terms of technology, whoops, why does it keep changing? That includes boots, kit, ball and pitch. So I've highlighted this to show that that's explained, but why does it keep doing that? But
don't touch it.
Oh, well, even if I'm near it. Okay, anyway, what matters is that in terms of clarity of expression, the order that findings are presented in the introduction should also match how they're presented in the body of the report. So for example, we've got technology in soccer, boots, and then if we look at the first subheading, it says evolution of boots and its benefits, which really clearly captures the question, which was how it's evolved over 200 years. We've got the technology, and the final part of the question, which is, has it been beneficial? That's also captured there. So having really clear subheadings that follow the order as presented in the introduction is really important. In terms of the body sections then, to help convey and help the student to show that they have answered the question, it's really crucial to have a strong topic sentence as well as a strong concluding sentence. So just like with an essay or whatever, you want to sandwich the information so that by clearly reading, or by reading the first sentence, the marker, the moderator, you as the teacher or other students should be really essentially able to know what's going to be presented and what is that finding. So this in yellow says, boots are a major component of soccer that have been constantly changed and improved upon to suit the needs of players since the sport's creation. So we can see that there's been a lot of evolution. We can see that it's been improved on a lot for the players, so we can assume that there will be benefits discussed, and also the types of benefits that will be discussed. Just omitting this stuff in here, if we zoom down to the concluding sentence, it says, overall, these elements that are now present in most boots, so therefore the evolution that's taken place in modern times, show how drastically boots have changed, so how much it's evolved, and how they are now more beneficial to players than previous designs. So that's capturing and showing I have answered this section, this part of the technology, and I've also answered what I said I was going to answer within my body section. So having a strong intro and concluding sentence is really key. That helps to not only show and match against S1, but also S3 as well, which is the expression criteria. If I just zoom out a little bit then, the parts that are highlighted in green, that's just there to help to show that this student has indeed gone through and answered that part of the question. So the bits that are in green, if I, oh yeah, that's okay. If we zoom in, so it's got originally, describes what they were like, talks about early boots, then additional evolution, how design was refined. It's also, and this is another really important thing, referencing the figures that it shows below. So this can be seen in figure 1 below. A really important factor is to always have that figure underneath where you reference it. There's nothing worse than having a figure, having an image, and then much later down saying, as can be seen in figure 1. Why is this a problem? If you only put the image first and then later refer to it, what is the reader going to come across first? Obviously the image. Are they going to understand why it's there, why it's important or critical to the answer? No. So encouraging students to reference the figure in their text before they show it is really important. Something that perhaps this student could have done to improve is to also move this figure in between these two paragraphs. Because he's mentioned it, he should then show it. If he shows, and now we all know that the student is a he, if he shows the figure right at the end, well, that's going to force the reader, if this was on the next page, to flip over. That distracts from the content that's being presented. However, fortunately for this student, there wasn't much more that was said, so lucky for him. Okay, so being clear, making sure that the question is answered within a subheading, with a clear subheading, clear topic sentence and concluding sentence, as you can see, is really important. If we zoom down to the conclusion then, you want the same kind of order as we had in the introduction. So there's the question, then it says, and this was done by focusing on the key aspects: boots, kit, pitch and balls. So that same order is the one that was mentioned in the introduction and is also the same order that's followed in the body paragraphs. Might not be a big deal if that's mixed up, but again, it enhances the clarity. As well, we've got explanation of what was found and why it was beneficial, so again, answering the question. So this is something that I use with my students, and that's essentially how I talk through it to help them to see that just little things like that can make such a big difference. So yeah, anybody have any questions?
I want to thank you first because you accepted to make the video for us. So next year, new teachers to the research project can see that and benefit. To those who cannot be here today, they can watch it. Thank you very much for this. For me it was a great understanding, especially because you chose a sample that it's not like a medical, newly conceived or very wonderful significant questions, like an everyday question. The football and the boots and everything, and that's demonstrate that you can have an A+, on that level. Thank you very much.
That was going to be more my comment too, that someone who, they're writing, you know, they're not an A+ English student either when you read their writing, but they've obviously achieved at a really high level by following a particular way of writing it and addressing all the issues. But, you know, there'll be other kids who might be able to write better, but they may not get the A+.
And that's again, just because there's not intensive terminology or sophisticated ideas, the expression is what makes
clear,
it different.
it covers the S3, which is clear and
what some students
concise.
try to do is try to make things too complex. Like I've got lots of students, I keep saying, can you simplify this? I've got no idea what you're talking about, because they're trying to use all these hard words that, and they're actually trying to stick in joining words in places they shouldn't have joining words. You know what I mean? They're trying to link things, and they
I think that's something really important.
Like the however conjunctions, you mean? Yeah.
But even as you mentioned, if I can move it, as we can see, it's not like the sentences are very long or complex. Sometimes short, sharp, and shiny can make the difference.
That's right.
Yeah.
And verifying where your information's come from. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Thank you.